Coming up on the mashup, John Jay throws Arlington for a loss, while Lourdes uses its Trinity for a glorious and angelic victory. Carmel shuts down Ketchum, while Highland just melts through the Ellenville defense. And SPAC runs away from Red Hook. It's exciting and fast-paced.
I'm so excited. Like, I can't even contain it. I just keep smiling.
So find a seat and get excited. The mashup is next. The mashup is brought to you by Rhinebeck Savings Bank, your community bank, and by Davis Furniture, giving customers more and charging less for over 90 years. Hi everyone, welcome to the mashup, brought to you by Rhinebeck Savings Bank, your community bank, and by Davis Furniture, giving customers more and charging less for over 90 years. Those are two great examples of local businesses within our community that are supporting our local student athletes and athletic programs. And we would also like to welcome the newest member of our businesses supporting the local community, Gold's Gym, with locations in Poughkeepsie and Fishkill. Keep them coming. Week 3 of the season provided some exciting moments in local sports, and we're starting to now see a consistency in the high level of performance of guys like Sincere Tatum and Terry Anderson of Newberg, Dakeem Lewinson of SPAC, Julian Metz of Highland, Luke Mahan of Jay, and is it sacrilegious if I refer to those 3 explosive players at Our Lady of Lourdes as the Holy Trinity? Max Krass, Kyle Strack, Jaheim Jones have been phenomenal week in and week out, and I'm sure the morning prayers at school help, but it's God-given talent that give each of these guys the juice to get going, and so many others that make up the 2018 football season something very special. But hey, let's give a shout out to the Lourdes offensive line, the Newberg offensive line, the Jay offensive line, the SPAC O-line, the O-line at Highland, because without those guys, there'd be no holes to run through. They never get the credit. In some cases, they deserve all the credit, in my humble opinion. All right, enough talk. Let's get down to what you came to the show for, the highlights, starting with the marquee matchup of the weekend, the clash of the Titans, the undefeated Arlington and John Jay. How do you play at Arlington if you're the visiting team? Because the Arlington fans can get crazy loud. Well, you come with a little bit of swagger, and you try your hardest to rise above the noise. That's what Jay had to do Friday night. But it wasn't going to be easy, because Jay hands it over when Quincy Peace grabs this Joe Milici pass, and that sets up this Xavier Powell TD strike to Nick Serzak, a perfect over-the-shoulder grab, and a 56-yard touchdown. It's 7-0 Arlington in the first quarter. And they are loud and proud. But other than that score, it was just an all-out war in the trenches. Arlington led 7-0 at halftime. Second half, Jay's mission was to score on its first possession. So guess what? Milici throws a beauty of a pass to Mike Blanchard. We're tied at 7. And then as the third quarter was winding down, Luke Mahan, in at quarterback, hits Phil Camusino for a big 35-yard gain and puts Jay inside the 30 just as the third quarter was ending. Fourth quarter, Mahan still at quarterback, takes the snap, runs right. He's still going and gets it down to the 5-yard line. From there, Mahan runs basically the same play for his 6th touchdown of the season and a John Jay lead at 14-7. And that's the way it ends as the Patriots beat the Admirals 14-7 on the Feldman, Clydeman, Coffee, Safe, and Regenbaum scoreboard.
I'm so excited. Like, I can't even contain it. I just keep smiling. Like, especially after that touchdown, we had the momentum, and especially right when the buzzer sounded. Yeah. I was so excited.
I got to do everything I can in my power and do my best to lead this team to victory. And I couldn't have done it without my line, without my running backs, without Mahan, and without Blanche running that nice 8.
It is always a war when these two schools get together. Tonight was no exception, and we might have raised the bar even for this rivalry in terms of physicality and intensity. It was an absolute battle every single snap.
And this is one of the things that guys just don't understand. Playing in the AA North, guys who are in it get it. You beat the heck out of each other week in and week out. And, at times you limp into games that are as big as this, which I don't think we really limped into this one. We had a few guys that were a little dinged, but, I'm sure that they did as well. And it's going to be the same thing next week. We gotta patch ourselves back together and get ready for suffering.
2-0 Ketchum hosting 1-1 Carmel. The Rams in the road whites already up 3-0 in the first. But Ketchum's Tim Cipollini throws a perfect strike to Aiden Virgo, who grabs it at the 50 but steps out of bounds at the 42. A 40-yard gain. But the Carmel defense was Ram tough and gets the sack of Cipollini behind the line. 3 and out for Ketchum, and Carmel makes it 3 and in. From the 15, the give to Sam Duke. And Duke says, "Sam, I am." He takes it 51 yards into Ketchum territory. From there, the airstrike from Andrew Nunez to Peyton Kea. That gets it inside the 10. And then the option fakes out everyone as Kea runs it in. It's 10-0 with the extra point. Peyton Kea was on fire, up 17-0 in the third. He hits Joe Machetta, who gets it down to the 5 after getting tripped up by Matt Brennan. Nunez calls his own number, and Carmel was racking up the points and the yardage. 237 yards on the ground, 122 in the air. And they go on to win it 31-0 on the Feldman-Kleidman Coffee Sape and Regenbaum scoreboard. Ketchum held to just 41 yards rushing. Both teams are now 2-1. Clarkstown North hosting Lourdes, and Chelsea Murtay says, "Welcome to Ram Country," as he takes this one 75 yards for the first score of the game. But the Warriors come right back when Max Kress hits Jaheim Jones on a flare to the flat. And from there, Lourdes was off and running. And passing, as Kress hits Kyle Strack for a 36-yard TD. The Warriors were on a roll and found a chink in the Vikings' armor as Strack once again comes underneath and gets this one down to the 41 in the second quarter. And that sets up this. Strack in motion, but Kress goes to Jones, and there ain't no keeping up with the Joneses when it comes to Jaheim. He's one of the fastest kids in New York State, a blur to even the camera on this one. And once Lourdes gets this kind of momentum, there's no turning back. Kress on the keeper, and the kid can run. A 53-yarder sets up this. Strack in motion, and yes, he can run too, straight into the end zone. In fact, that worked so well, let's try it again. Kyle Strack had 4 touchdowns in this one. Jaheim Jones had 3, and Lourdes continues to dominate with a 48-14 win on the Feldman-Kleidman Coffee Sape and Regenbaum scoreboard. Newburgh at Washingtonville. The last time these guys met, Newburgh put up 62 points. This one looked like it might be headed for the same right off the get-go. Goldbacks in the road whites. Sincere Tatum takes the ball at the 6. Zips through a gang of wizards. Out into the open field, and from there it was Newburgh sending a postcard signed Sincerely Tatum. It's a quick 6-0, 16 seconds into the game. Later in the quarter, Derek Lane blocks and fires to Cameron King, who grabs it off balance, breaks a tackle, stiff arms, and gets it down to the 12. Easy pickings for Newberg when they're in the red zone. Tatum heads towards the corner for another score. It's 12-0. Still in the first, Lane fires one to Tatum. Great over-the-shoulder catch. It's 19-0 Goldbacks. Second quarter, Washingtonville on the move, as Vincent Martello lost one to Ryan Hendricks in double coverage for the Wizards' first score of the game. It's 19-7. But Newberg comes right back as Terry Anderson, who ran for 248 yards, picks up 70 of them right here. Anderson had a day with 3 touchdowns on 13 carries, and the Goldbacks rack up 493 total yards and a 52-14 win over the Wizards on the Feldman Kleibman Coffee Sept and Regenbaum scoreboard. SPAC and Red Hook, the Red Raiders in their home red, and Spartans head coach Clinton D'Souza tries out an onside kick to start this one off. And it works! From there, Josiah Williams takes it home, and just like that, SPAC is on the board. The woes continue for Red Hook. High snap puts the Spartans in great field position. Dylan Kaufman calls his own number, and that's the way they do it. SPAC up 2 scores to none. Later in the game, 4-year starter Dikeem Lewinson picks up the grounder and heads north. A 56-yard return puts SPAC back in good field position. And check out Nasir Milligan. A 23-yard gain sets up one of 4 Lewinson TDs. It was 28-7. But Milligan also knows how to run north, and he's headed for Tivoli. A 50-yard TD run makes it 35-7. But the SPAC attack isn't done, as Lewinson takes this one 63 yards for the score. And then Dominic Guanarini follows that up with a 38-yard TD run. SPAC finishes with 352 yards and a 49-19 win on the Feldman Kleibman Coffee Sept and Regenbaum scoreboard. You know who the camera loves? Julian Meltz of Highland. You turn the camera on, and the next thing you know, you get this. Off the opening kickoff, and this is becoming a ritual. He did the same thing last week. Meltz runs it all the way back 70 yards to get the party started. The Huskies are up 7-0 in the first 12 seconds of the game. Meanwhile, Ellenville had to deal with this. Meltz and Chris Hammond on the tackle. Hammond led the team with 7 solo tackles. More first quarter offense. Brian Joyce looks to throw. Meltz is open and off to the races. A 78-yard TD run makes it 14-0. Not much change on offense for Ellenville, and it doesn't help when Casey Maynard gets an open door to your quarterback. One more time for Meltz before halftime. And this time, Julian uses the whole field. He cuts to the far sidelines, crosses over to midfield, and across to the other sideline. A 78-yard run for his 3rd TD in this one. It's 21-0. An Anthony Terrell interception sets up this TD as Ezekiel Askew takes it in. And then the icing on the cake just before the first half ends. David McComb offers one up, and it bounces right into the hands of Josh Hanna for a pick 6. Highland led 35-0 at halftime. And when this was all said and done, it was Husky Nation with a 48-0 win on the Feldman Kleibman Coffee Sept and Regenbaum scoreboard. Elsewhere in Section 9, Marlboro rang Liberty's bell with a 44-0 shutout win after scoring just 6 points the week before against Cornwall. Cornwall continues to stonewall opponents 63-20 over Saugerties. This Chester team looks like the real deal. A 55-0 win over Onteora. Chester started the season with a modest 16-6 win over Port Jervis, but then from there went on in week 2 to beat Liberty 56-14. I know we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but Chester will host SPAC and Kill in 2 weeks, and that should be a good one. And whoa, look at this one. New Paltz, the Huguenots, sunk Wallkill 63-30, picking up the first win of the season. Middletown wins the annual Erie Bell with a 24-0 win over Port Jervis in the beautiful confines of Fowler Field. The 6 Port Jervis turnovers helped. FDR is having a tough go of it in this early part of the season with a 33-7 loss to Warwick. But Kingston really had it tough traveling to Monroe-Woodbury. The Crusaders were without their starting quarterback, Steve Campione, who was nursing an injury, so who steps in? Steve's younger brother, Anthony, who threw 6 TD passes. Plenty of discussion around the dinner table at that household. Over in Section 1, Haldane's Sam Jacinta had 2 rushing TDs and 2 receiving TDs in the Blue Devils' 38-12 win over Croton. Dan Santos also scored. And how about them dogs? Beacon picked the perfect time to get it right. The Bulldogs' first home game of the season, Joe DeCandia had 2 TDs. Manny Garner had the other one. He also had 122 yards rushing on offense and 11 tackles on defense. And if you're watching this, Steve Morges, call me. Speaking of Peekskill, you hear this? Elton Brand apparently agreed to become the GM for the Philadelphia 76ers. Brand was the number 1 overall draft pick in 1999 coming out of Peekskill High School. He spent 5 seasons with the 76ers, and I guess they've been priming him because he was the GM for the 76ers G League team, the Delaware Bluecoats, this past season. But I digress. Up at the college level in volleyball, the Marist women have gotten off to a great start in MAC conference play with 2-0 head start and a sweep over Niagara.
It was a great weekend. I think probably, exactly how we wanted to start opening up MAC season. The crowd was fun. We had a great turnout, so it was a good environment to play in. And I think we did a lot of good things this weekend. I think we talk about just wanting to get better every weekend. We saw a lot of good things, and so happy with how the team played.
I think starting off 2-0 in MAC play is so exciting for our team. We have amazing depth. It feels really good to be on the court surrounded by a bunch of girls who I know are gonna step up when they need to and always have your back.
So that will do it for this edition of the Mashup. Once again, we want to thank our community sponsors, Rhinebeck Bank, Davis Furniture, Gold's Gym, and the law firm of Feldman, Cliven, Coffey, Sept, and Regenbaum, for all of those guys making it possible for us to provide free coverage. If you're a coach or an athlete or a parent, you want to get your team on the show, make sure you contact us with results after your games. You can email it to me, charlie@hvnn.com, and we'll be sure to give the exposure and accolades on the site that they deserve. And don't forget, if you have video and you want to share a great play or a special moment, send it to our video upload link. You can grab it at the top of the homepage, click on the icon, and then type in the user code HVNN Sports, which is case sensitive. Upload your footage, email us an explanation of what it is and a way to get in touch with you. And if we use your footage, we'll give you a heads up of when it's going to air. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Charlie Carnaccio, and from all of us here at your hometown sports network, we'll see you on the sidelines.
You did what I asked. I'm proud of you. I love you. You played 48 minutes. That was awarded the last second. That's a good football team, and they gave you a fight. But when it was on the line, you dug your heels in and you did what you had to do. I am super proud of the effort, the number of guys that had to go in and contribute. You had your back to the wall. You're down at half. What did I tell you behind that bus?
Don't ever give up. 48 minutes. Don't ever give up. 48 minutes.
Come out first drive and score, and we take control, and you listened and you did it. I'm proud of you. I love you. Great win. Keep your feet on the ground and your eyes on the road. We're not done.
Keep it going, baby.
The Mashup is brought to you by Rhinebeck Savings Bank, your community bank, and by Davis Furniture, giving customers more and charging less for over 90 years.